ang nangyari sa story ni Job, after nitong mga difficulties na to, he was able to overcome and he was able to keep his faith in God na kahit na nawala yung mga blessings niya, he did not curse God at hindi niya sinisi ang Diyos dito.
Nung nasa ER ako, na internal bleeding ako, di ba? Lord, bakit? Hindi naman pala niya gawa yun. Di ba? Dapat pala sinabi ko, demonyo.
When you listen to the story of Daniel, you would have faith. Hey, wait. That happened to Daniel. So if I'm suffering now, I have to hold on to my faith to God that He will save me.
Sa story ni Job, more on moral teaching lang siya. Yung story na matututo tayo sa iba't ibang pinagdaanan ni Job. Yung medyo magiging difference niya lang kay Daniel is that si Daniel kasi, he's a prophet. Yung common denominator nila is that they were faithful to God until the end.
Unwavering faith.
We learned today that Job and Daniel, actually, they share a lot of similarities. They're rock stars. They are rock stars in the Bible.
This podcast is powered by Podcast Network Asia and Podmetrics.
Let's get the show on the road. Come on in, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Narrow Door Podcast. My name is Sam O.
Tina Ryan here.
And with us, we have Brother JPaul Hernandez, who is lay preacher at the feast. Instructor Harold Recio is instructor at New Heaven and New Earth, Shincheonji Church of Jesus. This show is on YouTube and Spotify. However you are listening or watching us, we super appreciate it. First things first, we have to talk about Brother J's haircut. So you would have noticed if you were on the YouTube, right?
Okay. Which everyone noticed except me.
Did you not? We talked
What
about
a
this like right when we jumped on the Zoom.
I know, but I didn't notice. Nakita ko lang less body.
She's big on the body. She always says, mabody, yung hair ni Brother J. Nawala ka lang ng last recording, Brother J, nagpagupit ka na.
Nawala.
We like it. I mean, we were digging the long hair too, but this one is very reminiscent of very 90s. Parang, it brings me back to did you guys watch, this is really gonna date me, TGIF? Like sina Bobby Andrews, diba? Yung
TGIF or TGIS?
Si ano?
TGIS.
Wait, si ano?
TGIF is the resto, di ba?
Yeah, and just the actual saying, right? TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And it's Friday today too, by the way. That must be why I said that. But sino Tina?
I'm having a memory problem. I forgot his name. Hindi si Bobby Andrews. Si...
Like Jao Mapa feels?
Hindi rin.
Right? No?
Isa pa. Bondo.
One Mig Bondo. Ginugol ko na.
Yan, si Juan Mig. Si Juan Mig. No.
Pero guys, ask Brother J kung sino daw talaga yung naging peg niya nung nagpagupit siya. O sino, Brother J?
So sabi ko, first time ko kasi kinuwento ko yung buong buhay ko doon sa gumugupit sa akin. By the way,
as you do.
Yeah, the salon is owned by my high school classmate. So it's Headway, ganyan-ganyan. So sinuportahan ko lang. So napagupit ako doon, hindi ko naman alam. So alam mo yun, I take any haircut. Sabi ko, sir, first time ko humaba buhok, maganda pala sa akin. So pwede mo i-keep, pero bahala ka na with the styling, wala ako alam dyan.
Wow.
Napitan niya ako. Tapos sabi ko after, wow, ang galing, parang Jao Mapa. Tapos sabi niya, sir, yung bin kasi yung binodel ko for you eh.
Yeah! Yung
That's...
bin pala ang peg, guys. Kaya naman ako.
Pwede ba?
Brother J lang sa kalam.
Saka lang.
And since we're talking to Brother JPaul about his haircut, let's ask naman how he feels after the vaccine because ako takot. Diba? Ikaw, Sam, when do you have plans of getting vaccinated?
I'm registered where I live, but
Okay.
I think I'm one of those people that's not really rushing to get it. I just want to see how it plays out with everyone. First of all, Brother J, how come you got it early? You got it early, right?
A little bit earlier than everyone else.
How come? Tell them.
Oh, okay. First of all, I'm still checking if I'm craving for brains. Kasi kung magiging zombie ba ako, medyo iniisip ko is this it? Is this it? Magiging zombie ba ako? Pero parang ilang araw na wala pa. So we'll see. Hopefully in 1 year, I will not become a zombie. I think I watched too many zombie movies.
Mm-hmm.
Pero
Good to know. There are no zombie
yeah.
side effects yet. Okay.
We'll see. Yeah, so I got AstraZeneca. It was really harsh. I mean,
Harsh?
my brother, kasi my brother got din naman nung Wednesday. And my brother got like 40 degrees fever.
Oh.
Yeah, today lang siya gumaling.
Oh,
So
wow.
for me, like I was so hilo. Sobra, I was so hilo, guys. Like,
You know what? Wait, you know what you said in a couple of episodes ago? Like, does God want you to yakap your wife? And I was like, oh my gosh. You really said that. Okay, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So medyo hilo ako. Tapos like, ito nakakatawa. So sobrang sikip kasi nung pinarkingan ko, like sa street parking. Tapos parang, so medyo like, alam mo yung, parang 3 street yung nakikita ko. Tapos parang, how will I remove myself from parallel parking? Tapos nakakahiya. Alam mo yung pride ko, parang pag ako nabangga dito, ang daming gulo, COVID, ganyan. Let's focus, God! Parang ganyan. Talagang siguro mga lima or parang 5 ganun, yung ganyan.
Pabalik-balik.
Yeah, until makalabas. But it was hard. I felt like, pinaka-harsh thing na na-feel ko, like I felt fever inside, but I didn't have fever on my skin. Like, normal yung touch ko. Pero like, there was
Sa loob.
heat inside and like my back pain. Like, I felt the same pain nung nag-deadlift ako ng mga 350, 400 pounds.
Oh
Ganun kasakit
my
yung likod ko.
gosh.
So, it was that, but it was sluggish. First day ko today na okay. So, about almost a week before I started really feeling well. I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
Still, not a zombie.
So the reason Brother J...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember my
Sorry.
actual question? Yeah, let's answer that one.
Because I'm A3, so it means 18 to 59 with comorbidities. So I was born with 1 kidney.
Guys, he was born with 1 kidney. 1 kidney.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you punch me on my left, okay lang. Sa right, huwag niyo ako
That's
suntukin.
right.
Yeah, I only have 1. Ang galing, you know how God made it? Ang galing sobra. Like, weird lang pag in-ultrasound ako. Kasi pag in-ultrasound ako, this is the black space dito sa likod. Like, black space. Tapos pag in-ultrasound ako sa right, like, my right kidney, like, doubled in size. Like, natural selection. Nag-normal. Ang galing. Like, how, nature took over. Of course, medyo mas alanganin pa rin siya, pero nag-double in size yung 1 kidney ko to accommodate my body. Wow.
Oh, wow.
So parang nilipat lang nyo sa kabila. Parang,
Not exactly. Parang nag-steroids lang siya.
Nagko-compensate siya for
Yes.
the...
Parang siya nag-super saiyan. Super saiyan kidney. Parang ganun.
Dragon Ball reference. Yes! I used to love that comic book. Oh my gosh.
Actually,
Son
kumukha mo
Goku.
kasi Chi-Chi.
I read
Ayun,
this. No, you know what? I read this in Korean, so I don't know what the English names are. Which one is Chi-Chi?
Oh, the wife of Goku.
Oo.
Ay,
Aw,
yeah.
She's cute, Sam.
Okay, she's cute. Okay, I'll allow it. Okay, she's cute. Okay. Well, okay. So, Brother J, really glad that you got the vaccine. But I'm just curious, what's it like? And I know you don't have a point of reference because you don't know what it's like to actually have both kidneys. But what has it been like having? What are you doing?
Zombie.
What is it like to have only 1 kidney? Which, fine, is compensating, but still.
Yeah, I don't eat bagoong stuff. I don't eat extra salty. Yeah.
Bawal.
Bawal. So, I drink a lot. That's why sometimes I also panic. Like, I pee in the middle of like recording pag nagawa and yung alam mo yung mga recording natin nung patapos na biglang magsabihin si Insta Harry tapos maging 1 hour and a half di ko kinakaya because I drink so much water.
That was a jab, Insta Harry. That was a jab.
Joke lang. I got jabbed too. Parang ganun. So I drink so much water. Like I drink more than 8 glasses. Talagang to really make sure. And I need to sweat. Kaya I work out not just because pa-cool kasi I need to help my kidney filter. So I need to sweat. I drink a lot of water. I try my best not eat salty. So yun.
Wow.
And this has been your
And I don't
lifestyle ever since. Okay, I'm glad you clarified that because when you first said I drink a lot, it's like, ooh,
I
sounds
know,
like,
right?
yeah,
Mm.
alcoholic feels. But no, he meant water. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. Before we get to our question for today, and we have a very interesting one, which is coming from a listener. That's what we're doing right now. It's a series that we're doing. We want to show some love to a local business. And Tina Ryan, take it away.
Finally, I got it right because I sent, syempre yung ano ko, yung taste approval ko si ano, diba, si Sam. We want to say hello to Mamu Faye.
Hello, Mamu Faye.
And yung kanyang siomai, it's, well, the name on Instagram is FEP, so FEP_Velasco. I guess the guy who makes the siomai used to be a dim sum chef at the Mandarin.
Legit.
Yeah.
Too legit
No
to
wonder
quit.
they're
Gusto ko
so
na talaga try
good.
yan. Oh, man.
good.
Oh, man.
No,
So
next
good.
week
Oh,
I'll
man.
send you. Next week, promise I'll send you. So again,
Favorite
that's
ko dim sum eh.
ang sarap talaga. So again, on Instagram, she's FEP_Velasco. Do check her out because it's really good. And anything approved by Sam, because she's like my, parang my food guru si Sam sa akin.
I
To
am
me.
anything
Oo.
but I just like good food, and this is good food.
There you go.
Very tasty siomai, and it comes with really good chili oil,
Yes.
which I'm assuming they make themselves as well.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
The chili garlic
man.
oil. Yeah.
Shucks, favorite ko dim sum.
Okay, let's get started with our topic for today. Again, we're doing a listener question series, and this one is coming from June. You can email your questions to us, the narrowdoorpodcast@gmail.com, or get in touch with us through our personal socials if that's what you'd like to do. And our question for today is, what is the significance of the stories of Job and Daniel? No background, there's no reason, I'm not sure why, but they seem kind of random. Job and Daniel, I don't know if there's any connection with these two.
I was gonna ask nga si Brother JPaul, tropapips ba yung dalawa?
Tropapips, haven't heard that in forever.
Alam mo, Tina, I think bricks sila eh.
I'm sorry? What?
Never mind. Bad
Dabarkads
joke.
sila, dabarkads.
Dabarkads. Yeah, dabarkads. Yeah.
No, kasi yun yung first ko naisip, bakit yun yung tanong, magkaibigan ba yung dalawa? Or like, magpinsan like Jesus
Yeah,
Christ
kaya ako
and
na po
John the
WhatsApp sa
Baptist?
WhatsApp natin. Bakit? Anong context? Diba parang nag-WhatsApp ako? Anong context nito? Bakit? Wala lang. So,
Yeah. And it's cool. I mean, maybe he's reading these books and wants to
I'm
know.
not judging you, Jun, Talagang.
Yeah, you were.
I only judge Sam and Harry and Tina and Dennis. And Burns.
Oh, you see Burns. He's not even on the show today anyway.
Soulmate ni Insta Harry yun. Like, ay nako, Tina, pag nakasama mo yung dalawa, like, nerd fest talaga. Like,
Yes,
nakakatuwa
they
sila.
are.
Nakakatuwa.
Really?
Namimiss ko na yung tambalang Insta Harry and Burns.
Tambalang Recio at Kaasi.
Parang pwede. Parang pwede pag AM. Joke lang.
Okay.
Insta Harry, ikaw, ano ba? May significance ba yung dalawa? Or like, random lang to nakapili, no?
It seems like random siya napili, pero
Okay.
actually, yung kagandahan sa Bible, marami tayong mga bagay na pwede ma-connect. And I think there is a significant, bukod sa significance ng story ng dalawa, meron din silang something that is the same, na they are on the same page, and we can learn from that. And I think yun yung i-discuss natin for today.
Yay! Yeah. So
Oo.
let's get to it.
Guys, hindi ko siya binasa. Like, briefly lang, nalungkot ako sa story ni Job. And then, parang, sabi ko kay Daniel, I'll just wait for the story from Brother JPaul and Insta Harry to tell me.
Yeah. We can actually start by doing that, I think, for the benefit of the people who have not read the book of Job and the book of Daniel. We can briefly go through it, tell us what their story is, and then later we'll actually answer the question. So, given all that, what is the significance of their stories? Let's start with Job. And I think Tina has in mind maybe what a lot of Bible readers have in mind is that Job is the guy who was super kawawa. I mean, he was tested by Satan, and I'm going to start with maybe one of the most asked questions about the book of Job is, why did God allow
That
Satan to test him? Because in the beginning of the book, you see that conversation between God and Satan, right? And God is like, well, yeah, go ahead. Just don't kill the guy, but do your thing. Not exactly in those words, but you know what I mean?
Parang ang malas-malas niya.
Yeah. Oo, diba?
Oo, parang what did he do to deserve it? Guys?
May
Guys?
emphasize pa ako kay Job eh.
Sige. Usually actually ako rin nag-question ako dati about this, na bakit inallow ng Diyos si Satan na gawin na to kay Daniel. Pero actually, kung babasahin natin yung Job, dun sa chapter 1 verse 9 to 11, it's more of parang challenge ni Satan ang Diyos na kaya lang naman ano yan si Job kasi you blessed him tapos okay yung buhay niya, pero alam mo alisin mo yung mga yan, i-curse ka niya. So yun yung goal ni Satan, na gusto niya i-curse ni Job ang Diyos, gusto niya mag-commit siya ng kasalanan, at challenge siya ng Diyos na kaya lang naman faithful yan sa'yo because of the blessings that you've given him. Pero actually, kung titingnan natin, lahat naman tayo, we are all going through mga difficulties, mga trials sa buhay natin. Maybe we are not aware of it, pero normal yun. I think ang naging factor lang, kasi itong Book of Job, it is a story about his life, na masyadong na-emphasize na marami siyang pinagdaanan, paghihirap and all. But actually, makikita natin dito na ang nangyari sa story ni Job, after nitong mga difficulties na to, he was able to overcome and he was able to keep his faith in God, na kahit na nawala yung mga blessings niya, he did not curse God, at hindi niya sinisi ang Diyos dito.
So gusto niya tumiwalag lang si Job kay God. Oh.
And I think that was an interesting thing that I saw. Okay, honestly, I didn't finish reading the whole book of Job, but I did get through like the first couple of chapters, and what stood out to me was yung charging God with wrongdoing is defined as sin. And yeah, and this is a topic that comes up quite a bit on the show because, of I guess what's going on in the world right now, and people are wondering like, where is God during this time? Why is he allowing all of this? What's with the suffering in the world? And when we look at a verse like this, I think it kind of confirms what we've talked about, na these things don't come from God, and we blame God for that.
We're so quick
and
to
that's
blame.
sinful in the eyes of God. Now we blame him.
Hala.
And that's what Satan wants you to do, is to curse God for all this.
Gosh.
Dami
ko moment sa ganun, Brother JPaul. May kulay. Nung nasa ER ako, na nag-internal bleeding ako, di ba? Lord, bakit? Hindi naman pala niya gawa yun. Di ba? Dapat pala sinabi ko, demonyo. Oo, demonyong to, di ba? Pero no, that's true. Like even, oo nga no, bakit ganun tayong mga tao? That's not good.
No.
That's a sin, you guys. Ano yun? Anong verse yun?
It's very early on in the book of Job. Like,
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1 lang.
Obvious na obvious na nagbasa no?
So yeah, that was very interesting to me. Na, it says na sin nga pala daw yun if you do that. So Job was the guy who was tested severely. And he was tested by being stripped of all of the blessings in his life. His animals were killed. And then the servants that were with the animals were killed as well. All his sons and daughters were killed.
While eating.
Which
I was trying to picture, Mama, sa totoo lang. How does God do? No, yun na naman ako, God naman. I mean, okay. Kasi nga, diba, parang, syempre, ngayon ko pa lang nalalaman na kasalanan pala yun. Pero parang, yun din yung una kong naisip nung nabasa ko yung briefer na, how does God kill while eating? Diba? Parang, Kasi di ba yung pag kumakain tayo, biyaya yan galing sa Diyos eh. Di
Oo.
ba nga?
Oo.
I mean like, tapos bigla tayong bibigyan ng ganong senaryo. Habang kumakain, papatayin. Tapos ang una ko naisip, paano ginagawa ng Panginoon yun?
But yun nga, hindi si
Yun nga
Panginoon ang
oo.
gumawa nun.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when you read the book, like these tests come one after the other. As in
Sunod-sunod.
boom, boom, boom. Like, I mean, it's almost comical, you know? And then he gets very sick. Like, I think he gets sores on his skin, like pain from, head to toe. And obviously, Satan's objective is turn away from God, forsake him, curse him. But in the end, he doesn't do that.
Alam mo, natawa ako, singit ko lang Alam mo yung mga friends ni Job, napaka-Pinoy.
Alam mo, may question din ako dyan sa mga friends niya. Kasi nandun yung mga friends niya, pero parang they weren't helpful. Tama ba?
Yeah, yun na nga yung girit ko eh. Yung
May
iba
tropa.
yung Pinoy, 'di ba, parang yung mga Pinoy kasi 'di ba very chismoso. So yung sa culture kasi nila, sickness is a sign of sin.
Yes.
So parang instead of kamustahin, ang ginawa ng barkada niya, chinism, ay siguro si Job nakaliwato. Yung gano'n, siguro nag-blaspheme. Parang ganun. I'm not saying exactly, pero instead of like nag-intercede, tinulungan, or whatever, chinismis pa siya ng buong barkada niya. And it's very, very, still happens today.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, when bad things are happening to you, ikaw pa ang
Oo.
sinisiraan. Ikaw na nga kunyari, nabash ka, di ba? Nabash ka online or whatever bad things happen to you. Biglang parang mali mo pa. Yung ganun, may
Ang una nating isipan, Brother J, anong ginawa nito? Nakakarma to.
Pero Job was confident. It was also explained in the book na if he will be put into the honest scales of God, he will be blameless talaga. So, yun.
That's tapang, di ba?
Mm-mm.
Yun ang sabi ni Job?
Yes.
Blameless
So, that's
siya?
tapang. Yeah.
Confident.
Mm-mm.
Because, kaya naman siya confident because he was blameless and upright talaga in the eyes of God.
So I guess the question is, what made him blameless and upright? And how did he get past these tests that Satan hurled at him?
That's a very good question. Hindi pala. Thank you for that wonderful question.
I miss you. Are you?
Si Rabia kasi.
Because it's also written there. Yung pinaka-unang verse, Job chapter 1 verse 1, si Job, dinescribe kung sino siya. And then it was mentioned that he was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. And yung explanation nito, nasa Job din, chapter 28 verse 28, that fearing God is wisdom and shunning evil is understanding. So in other words, Job has the wisdom and understanding coming from God. And that's why despite the challenges, yung grabe, yung sobrang extreme naman kasi talaga yung nangyari sa kanya, nawala yung mga mga sheep niya, camel niya, oxen, donkey, wala, pati anak niya, family niya, tapos yung health. Kasi healthy and wealthy siya during that time. That's why he was very known.
Prosperity siya! Prosperity gospel siya.
Yeah.
Hindi
He's like
naka-move on sa
Abraham,
prosperity gospel.
Speaking of prosperity gospel, because we just had this topic like a few episodes ago, right? And I feel like kasi wala ka nun, Brother J.
Si Brother JPaul, wala nga pala.
But we had this question kasi, can prosperity gospel coexist with Luke chapter 9 verse 23, was it? Basically a verse that says, if you want to follow me, then you have to pick up your cross, deny yourself, that kind of thing, which is very conflicting with prosperity gospel, right? And I think I missed out on something that maybe we should have discussed during that topic, which was, how do we discern now what is coming from God? Because I think not all good, like what we perceive as good things, like maybe a promotion or money or a relationship that you wanted, is not necessarily good. So we need to discern. We need to discern. Like, of course, God wants to bless us, but I think there's a need for us to discern whether all of these quote unquote blessings are
coming from Him. Yoy,
Diba?
Ano?
ang bigat naman ng question mo. Okay, guys. I'll catch you at the next episode.
Ano? Mabigat
Pag-isipan
ba
ko
yun?
muna.
Of course not.
Yeah, honestly, dito kami pinaka na-hurt sa feast because people think we're prosperity gospel preachers, but we're not. We are totally not. It's just because kasi majority of our members are in poverty. Kaya you need to preach about the fullness of God. Yung fullness na, hindi naman, parang kasi, there's also a poverty gospel na ang paniniwala naman nila, pag mahirap ka, mahal ka ng Diyos. Hindi, ang gusto ng Diyos is you are well. Basically, this is especially because, ito yung one of my favorite, sayang wala ako ng episode na to.
Oo nga.
Social teaching yung favorite ko na mga preachings or beliefs ng Catholic Church. It's the purpose of wealth is to distribute it to others. The reason why God wants to bless you or yung purpose mo sa buhay ma-bless or you're appropriated that grace is to share that blessing to others. Basically, pinapayaman tayo or God allows you to be rich if you're that person that's designed to be rich. It's because you're designed to bless others.
To share.
To share it to others. So, yung prosperity gospel, imposible siya na mahal ka ng Diyos kaya ka lang mayaman. Hindi May mga tao na meant to be mayaman, may ibang tao hindi. May iba-ibang, we can't answer. Because you have to remember who God is. God will bless both evil and good people. Pero for us, you go to the Acts of the Apostles, what they did was, shinare nila lahat ng belongings sila kasi gano'n ang community, gano'n ang church. Kaya nung kunyari si Instahari, na magsa-start sila nung online church nila, nag-volunteer kami kagad na, pwede ba kaming, we're not perfect, but we can help with whatever because ito yung richness na meron kami, yung technical know-how, richness namin yan. And it is our joy to share it to our brothers and sisters in Christ. And if they get better, so be it. Kasi dineside ni Lord i-bless yung NHNE. So hindi ko pwedeng ipagdamot. Lahat ng ito, pagmamayari ng Diyos. And it is my joy to share it to others.
Oh, yeah, they really did
Thank you, Brother
that.
Jay.
Yeah, that really warmed my heart when you guys did that. But again, going back to discerning, right? Because wouldn't you agree, like not all quote unquote good things that come into your life necessarily come from God. And so you need to kind of think about this a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, for example, sa love life, hindi porket pinakilig ka niya, one true love mo siya.
Oh!
Boom!
At ilang beses na po ako nagkamali doon, mga kaibigan.
Let's hear the testimony of Tia.
No, but guys, may share lang ako. Meron ako like personal experience na, alam mo yung binigyan siya ng abundance ni Lord, tapos parang lalo siya naging madamot.
And yung ganon, like I think, kunwari, going back to the whole relationship scenario, right? I'm single, and then say someone comes into my life and he ticks all the, boxes and wow, great guy. But what if he is not a religious person who does not believe in the faith that I do? And because, I really want this relationship so much, magpapadala na ako dun. I think the question always has to be like, is this blessing gonna bring me closer to God or will it bring me farther away from Him? Yung ganon.
And glorify God or not.
Yeah. And even like say a promotion, what if it's a promotion? Obviously that's a good thing, but you're gonna get so busy and you're gonna neglect your small group and neglect your, how you serve
Bible
at the feast
study
or something, or Bible study. Yung mga ganon. Ganon. I think there's a need to discern when something comes into your life like that. And that is the point that I wished we discussed during the prosperity episode that we didn't get to. So we're squeezing it in here.
And
so if
here,
it takes away from God,
Yeah.
then it's not coming from Him.
Yeah, because
parang
why would
ganun
God...
ni Sam na whether it's like it's abundance or prosperity or like kay Job and Daniel na may suffering, may purpose lahat yan .
Let's get back to the story of Job. So having been tested like that, because I feel like we need to rebrand Job, guys. I feel like the focus kasi is always on his suffering, how he was tested, how he lost everything. Diba?
Actually,
Like,
yes.
diba, Insta Harry?
Because kung titingnan natin, the reason why Job was able to receive the double portion of blessings is because of that knowledge and understanding wisdom and understanding that he received from God. At kaya anuman yung nangyari sa kanya, he knew na hindi naman ito manggagaling sa Diyos. Kahit na gusto ni Satan i-curse niya ang Diyos, pero yun doon naging matatag yung faith niya. And I believe tayong mga believers sa panahon natin ngayon, it would also help us to stand in the faith that we have if it's clear yung wisdom and understanding that is really coming from God as well. And eventually, we can also receive the blessing na it can be far from what we expect na even double ay kayang ibigay ng Diyos sa atin.
Yeah. So instead of talking about Job and then thinking, oh yeah, that guy who lost everything, super kawawa, I feel like we should focus on the redemption at the end, how everything was restored and given back double. Yes, Brother J.
Hi, Chichi.
Kulang na lang bangs. Pabangs kaya ako.
Yeah. Pero
Next week.
next week. And even if remember that episode na nagkaiyakan kami ni Pastor Dennis, yung Isaac story, yung Isaac episode natin na like yung isa niyang son, tapos si Viv muntikan mamatay, yung ganon. So ang naging question sa amin ano, would we stop worshiping God because that parang I remember that episode so vividly kasi Viv. So yun.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, kinikilig lang ako.
Pogi points!
I know, right? Di naman niya pinapakinggan to. Joke lang. Joke lang. I think Christians, especially Catholics, we believe in redemptive suffering. That the full joy of Catholicism is embracing the suffering of Christ. And if when we suffer with God, hindi siya punishment eh. It is a reward of our faithfulness. It's sobrang hirap niyang explain and also hirap niyang intindihin. It takes a deep faith in God for all Christians to embrace suffering. Because suffering, we don't like it eh. But whenever we suffer with Christ, we ought to know that whatever suffering that He allows, it is always for greater glory. So whether gumaling si Job or not, in our aspect, putting it to our listeners' life, what if your life is meant to suffer for the glory of God? What if yun yung point ng buhay mo? That will always be, because I've seen Christians like that. Sa amin, ang daming ganyan. Na talaga, yung may suffering, laging may suffering na bit-bit. Pero grabe pa rin yung kanilang glorification kay God. May purpose yun and hindi dahil malas sila. Pero, yun yung grace na binigay ni God and just, I guess what I'm trying to say to our listeners is, there's a concept na hindi Christian, it's bloom where you're planted. And whatever God gives to you, you're supposed to bloom. And that is a gift from Him. It's whatever cross it is, you should die to yourself and embrace it. So, but yes, praise God, maganda yung ending ni Job na dinoble yung riches. Because even in our life, whether walang panalo, hindi tayo manalo sa buhay, the heavenly rewards will be more than enough. And that's just what I wanted to say to some of our listeners.
So meaning,
who are suffering.
meaning
sorry,
Brother
go ahead.
J, if we don't get the rewards here sa langit, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if wala tayo dito. Kunyari, may taong hindi magkakakotse, hindi magkakabahay, pero mabait pa rin, matino pa din, kind, yung nagbibigay pa rin yung meron na siya yung pinapamigay niya. Wait, seriously, doesn't God love them? What if yun yung pinurpose ni God for his or her life?
Okay.
At the end of days, I'm sure God will take care of him or her.
guess my question is, I mean, I have no doubt that God can use all of these difficulties and challenges and suffering and all that. But I just keep coming back to like, but it's not from him nga. You know what I mean?
Parang ayaw niya ngayon for us.
Oo. Pero he'll use it, and that's why he's powerful.
He'll allow it.
He'll allow it.
Parang idol ko na si Job.
Oh.
You should. Grabe si Job. Kasi
Actually.
ask mo sarili mo eh. Ako nga eh, di ba? Parang almost losing Viv. Napa-question ako, Tina eh. Wait. Kasi na-imagine ko na eh. Alam mo, grabe yung aking vivid futuristic mind eh. Hala, siguro magba-backslide ako, mang-chicks na ako pag namatay si Viv, di na ako pipreach. Seryoso, parang gano'n. Ando na yung utak ko eh. And Job lost everything. So parang, teka, in faith-wise, practical application ng faith, malayo pa ako kay Job. Joke pa lang ako.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, you guys, 3 lang yung singaw ko last week, nagrereklamo ako. Tapos si Job, diba? Ano mo yung binigay sa kanya ni Satanas, ng devil? Pabuong katawan.
Oh, diba? Imagine your singaw, mama. Tapos you
Yeah.
multiply it to the whole body.
So
No!
you're right. We should rebrand him. Maybe it's not this. We shouldn't focus so much on what he went through. Diba? It's hari yung suffering, but let's focus on how much faith he had.
Yes.
And how he
really.
didn't give up.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And then eventually God restored everything.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
more.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to Daniel then. I know that he was a prophet,
Yes.
and he is famous for being
The
thrown yung diet na Daniel fast, right? And also he was thrown
The lion.
into the lion's den, and he
I'm sorry.
survived.
What?
Yeah.
Pinakain siya si
Yeah.
Leon? Tapos nabuhay
Oo.
siya?
Oo.
Kasi vegetarian yung Leon.
Kaya siya nagda-Daniel fast. Veggies and fruits only. And okay, this isn't biblical. Please do not quote this stuff.
We're
my
not
God.
heretics. Sorry.
But yeah, let's talk about Daniel. Just like an overview, perhaps, of his story.
Oh my God, I have so much reading
I
to
think-
do. Okay.
Basically, you've mentioned those things. Yung nakilala siya. And I think the reason why some Christians are doing the Daniel fast is because nakita nila yung example ni Daniel na hindi siya kumain ng meat or yung wine coming from the king of Babylon. So he just ate vegetable and water. Tapos yun, tinapon siya sa lion's den because he did not obey yung decree na dapat mag-worship sa hindi pwede mag-pray sa ibang Diyos or sa ibang tao, only through the king of Babylon. And I think one more significant thing about the story of Daniel is the king had a dream pero ayaw niyang ipaalam dun sa mga magicians, astrologers. Pero sabi niya, i-interpret niyo yung dream ko.
Yes, he was like, I'm not even gonna tell you what my dream was. Interpret it. He did
Diba?
that. Yes.
It came to a point na yung mga, what do you call this? Ipapapatay na yung mga wise men ng Babylon noon dahil nga wala makapag-interpret. Pero si Daniel, nung napakinggan niya to, what he did was, he actually, together with his friends, they prayed and they asked for God's wisdom. And then eventually, ibinigay sa kanya ng Diyos yung wisdom, yung understanding. And that's when he actually explained it to the king. So, doon makikita natin, sobrang humble din ni Daniel na when he was able to explain it, he said na hindi ito nanggaling sa kanya because only God can reveal these mysteries. And yun lang, maraming mga bagay tayong pwede makita dito sa Book of Daniel.
Brother J.
Yeah, actually, alam mo, recently talagang honor roll sa preaching tong si Insta Harry. Just wanna say it. Yeah, ang ganda nung kay Daniel. Na girlfriend ni Catherine, na boyfriend ni Catherine.
Again, not biblical. Please don't quote us on this stuff.
I mean, it's just really ano siya like, go back to the parang context of Daniel, that many times Jews were being exiled, being attacked. And when you listen to the story of Daniel, you would have faith. Hey, wait, that happened to Daniel. So if I'm suffering now, I have to hold on to my faith to God that He will save me. And I will hold on to my God as my Savior, my one true King. Because you have to remember, there were many religions as well, as beside Israel, na yung dinidistract sila, na dito ka na lang, yung ganyan. So, yun lang, more of that aspect, that it is a good reminder where, hey, maybe bad things are happening. Maybe you're in front of a lion right now.
Could be worse. Ay, hindi pala.
In
A
front
tiger.
of a virus.
Yeah, in front of a virus. Like, yeah, I mean, if I'm just putting myself, like, maybe I'm that person who is in the ICU right now, or battling COVID or whatever sickness. These are the stories, the biblical stories I want to hold on to. That in their suffering, Christ is revealed. Yeah, go ahead.
No, if I can just add dun sa sinasabi ni Brother Shay na really we go through these sufferings, these challenges in our lives. At ganun din kasi nangyari kay Daniel. He was thrown into the lion's den because he did not obey yung command ng king nun na they have to worship, they have to pray to Darius only, who is the current king during that time. Current na nga during that time pa. Pero si Daniel kasi, dahil ang characteristic niya nga is he's seeking God's wisdom and understanding. He knew na hindi siya pwedeng mag-worship ng ibang mga Diyos, or even yung statue na inilagay doon ng King of Babylon. But all these sufferings, this persecution, are coming from the enemy. And we know that Satan, who is spirit, also uses flesh. So yung King of Babylon, ganun yung ginawa niya, na maraming mga bagay na yung nangyari during the time of Daniel, we can also look at it in a spiritual aspect, na ganun magtrabaho si Satan eh. Ganun yung work ng enemy, na yung Babylon kasi, it's not the nation of God. Yung nation ng Diyos, yung Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And in here, makikita natin na yung king ng Babylon, itong nation na hindi naman kabilang sa Diyos, he worked during that time na, mapahirapan tong sina Daniel, and they had to be strong in the faith that they have. Nakatulad nung kay Job, despite dun sa nangyari sa buhay nila, he had to hold on to the faith because they received the wisdom and understanding from God. Yun yung in-explain ko kanina when Tina asked, randomly lang ba sila napili? Actually, they are connected. Pareho sila, that they were able to overcome any circumstances. At dahil yun ay, they have that wisdom and understanding from God. Ako na-imagine ko lang naman, hindi to syempre nakasulat sa Bible, but I can imagine most likely yung mga tao doon sa paligid, uy, mag-bow down na kayo. Ito na, sabi na nung king, mag-bow down na kayo. Pero,
uy, kapre.
Oo.
Alam mo kung Pinoy pa yung ganun? Yung kinakausap ka gamit yung kilay. Tsaka nguso.
Pero yan, they were faithful until the end. Yeah,
Guys, yeah. Oh, wow. They're more similar than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so may similarities. Pero yung sa story ni Job, more on moral teaching lang siya. Yung story na matututo tayo sa iba't ibang pinagdaanan ni Job. Yung medyo magiging difference niya lang kay Daniel is that si Daniel kasi, he's a prophet. So merong pinakita sa kanya mga prophecies. Yeah. And these prophecies are about the end times. Yung huling chapter sa Daniel, Daniel chapter 12, it's about the end times. And before we've discussed this like almost a year ago. Ang tagal na.
Hi guys, mag-1 year na tayo. Okay.
Happy anniversary
na tayo. Di ba, we talked about the end times. Yung Matthew chapter 24 is like the condensed version of Revelation.
It's called mini
revelation.
revelation. Yeah.
It's like a mini revelation because everything in Matthew chapter 24, we can find it in Revelation as well. Tapos dun sa Matthew chapter 24 verse 15, sinabi doon, when you see the abomination that causes desolation, spoken through the prophet Daniel,
Wow.
let the reader understand. So connected talaga siya na merong mga prophecies na pinakita kay Daniel na connected sa end time. So that's, for me, that's something na medyo different sila pero yung same yung common denominator nila is that they were faithful to God until the end.
Unwavering faith.
Unwavering faith. That's right. May special mention pala siya doon. I'm sorry. How long ago was the book of Daniel written? I'm just thinking about like the prophecies, you know, na minention pa sa book of Matthew. Ano yung, what is the...
Mga 6th generation BC?
Approximately 500 years from the time na sinulat siya ni Daniel hanggang sa time na dumating si Jesus. But from our time right now, going back to the time of Daniel, approximately 2,500 years.
5 to 6.
Exactly! But the prophecies from in Revelation ay sinabi na 2,500 years ago in the book of Daniel.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? Wow. Okay. Okay, so let's take it back to our main question then. What is the significance of the stories of Job and Daniel? How would you sum that up, having discussed the two books? How would you answer this question?
Never lose faith. Ganun lang yan, ah.
Yes. I think that's...
Unwavering faith.
For
with
the two
wisdom
of them.
and understanding. Humaba yung hashtag. Hindi, separate hashtag na lang. Wisdom tuloy. Wisdom and then understanding.
You know, Insta Harry has brought this up before. Medyo familiar ako dun sa part na yun because you used that explanation in the book of Job in other topics that we've discussed. And I think that also stands out to me, and it's a thing that we see with both Job and Daniel, was that they had understanding of God, meaning they knew God, like they knew the character of God. They knew enough to know, God wouldn't do this to me. Oh, this
Or hindi
isn't
siya
from God.
pababayaan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that knowledge and trust in that character of God will help you weather these things. And I think that's what we see in the life of Job and the life of Daniel, because they knew, God would rescue me. God would restore everything. You know? And so the knowledge and understanding of God is really important.
Ako, I just wanna say, because there are a lot of talks now online about si Neil deGrasse Tyson kasi he's a renowned scientist, and siya very anti-religion, so anti-Christianity, because nga parang how can a God, yung lagi niya sinasabi, how can an all-loving God allow this to happen? The big question.
Makinig ka mo siya dito, no?
Hindi niya maintindihan si Jao Mapa tsaka si Yung Bing siguro. Tsaka si One Mig. Pero it's really, it's always our question as a human being. Why does God allow bad things to happen? If He loves us fully, why? Hindi ko na alam.
And honestly, I never once blamed the devil for any of the misfortunes.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Diba? I would call someone, oy, demonyo ka. Pag galit ako. Diba? Pag masama. Pero pag may masamang nangyayari sa atin, we tend to blame
God,
which is a sin, and it's written on the Bible. Diba? But that's so sad.
No, I'm sorry. It's just that it's such a good point. I feel like every time you hear people blame God all the time. You never hear people blame Satan for anything.
Oh.
Or even at the minute thing that people don't even blame themselves.
Mm-hmm. Because yes, that does factor in, because we are making all these poor choices that lead to consequences.
Yeah, we forgot. We're kind of responsible.
Yes, we are. But you're
we
right.
like to throw stones at God. Yung ganun lang. And yun, just like, why do bad things happen to good people? It is just because it happens.
Because
And,
Satan.
yeah, it a lot of factors. Punta pa lang ako dun eh. Nunaan mo ako eh. Spoiler alert. But even if, ultimate spoiler alert, God wins. At the end of the laban.
Ayun ka na naman, end of the laban. Make
At
her
the end
laugh.
of the war or whatever. Siguro, I guess I want to end with like, hindi ko lang, tinatapos ko, hindi pa tayo tapos, no? Pero,
No, we should
I
wrap
just-
na.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
I like that. I think that's my takeaway, Brother JPaul.
Nawala yung sabihin ko.
At the end of laban. At the end of laban.
Nag-grab kasi siya eh.
No,
Nawala tuloy.
I think people think that Jesus versus the devil is an equal fight. Akala ng tao that the devil has power over Jesus or kaya niyang i-knockout punch. The truth is, the devil does not have power. And you know why the devil is afraid of us? It's because when God created us, we are royal family. We are the masterpiece, the crown of His creation. And you have, as baptized Christians, all of us have authority over spirits. So we can actually command the devil to leave us.
Oh, I like that.
So hindi siya pantay na laban, talo ang demonyo, panalo ang Diyos. So just have faith.
Mm-hmm. And I think that faith also, again, has to come from some kind of understanding. And I think that is how faith can be sustainable. Because in my experience, in the beginning, it was really more like, oh, this feels nice. Oh, this is comforting. Yung ganon. And that can only last you so long, I think.
Mhm.
You have to understand him
Yeah.
eventually, and that will sustain the faith.
Tanto mo, girl.
It's very embarrassing when he does that. Okay. And so, gosh, yes, we learned today that Job and Daniel actually they share a lot of similarities. They're rock stars. They are rock stars in the Bible. Tina, what about you? How do you feel about having known about Job and Daniel through our discussion today?
Ayun nga, ang takeaway ko is you gotta just keep the faith, and without getting to know him, there, like you said, it's a feeling that's only gonna last a short while.
Yeah.
So we really have to devote time to get to know him, and that's by reading his word. And then anything that comes our way, again, if it's bad, it's not from him. Let's not quickly blame him.
Yeah. Okay. So June, thank you so much for sending us this question. And I hope our discussion answers your question. We certainly had a good time talking about this. And
I'm gonna
again,
read about them.
yeah, we should have before this discussion. You can get in touch with us, the narrowdoorpodcast@gmail.com. And if you guys want to get to know more about Brother J or Insta H, Tina also, I mean, they all have their own things going on outside of this podcast, and the details are in the show description. So please do that. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Take care, because I care.